We are all aiming at something. Some of those things are profitable, some are not. Hello, friend. Have you heard of Matthew Emmons? He was an incredible American shooter, and in the Olympics, he's won gold after gold after gold. In one Olympics, he was set to get his next gold medal. He was so far ahead of the competition, he didn't need to hit a bullseye in the shooting competition. It just needed to be around it. And so he got ready. He got set, aimed at his target, pulled the trigger, and leaped with joy because he'd done it so many times. He knew without a shadow of a doubt he'd hit a direct bullseye. And he had. The judges went down there, they looked at the target, and it went silent. And suddenly Matthew got a little nervous. And the judges looked and looked and looked. See, Matthew Emmons hit a direct bullseye at the wrong target, and he didn't even medal. This is called a crossfire, in case you're wondering, in the shooting competition, and it's a rare thing, but it does happen, where they're so focused, they set up, they hit the target, but it's the wrong one. You and I'm afraid, my friend, we hit the wrong target all too often. See, in life, sometimes I'm actually aiming at recognition from others, and I hit that target, but feel empty inside. There's been other times when I started my business, my aim was for money. If you read the Bible at all, you know that doesn't end well. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And so, surprisingly, that target, when I'm hitting that, it doesn't fulfill me. How about approval for others? See, we aim at so many targets that end in emptiness inside and sometimes externally. But how do we focus to hit the right target instead of hitting things that we would never want to hit? 3 simple things. So let's dive in. Number 1, we got to focus on God. And this might seem elementary. It's because it is. Like, oh, thanks, focusing on God. See, the action of just saying focus on God, that's simple. But when life gets messy, sometimes it's the first thing we stop focusing on. My problems get big, and that's all I can see is my problems. Have you been there? Your worries wake you up in the middle of the night? Or this morning, I was having anxiety this morning about finances, and I couldn't even see God. Do you know what was happening in my life financially? Nothing. Nothing wrong. Actually, everything's great in that realm. But my mind fixated on that and stopped focusing on God. So how do we do that? How do we focus on God more than we already do? It's through having little rhythms. So you need a quiet time routine in the morning. But my friend, you also need routines throughout the day that reconnect you and help untie that tied up soul that our world creates. So you have problems. The world has problems. Right now, war is in the news. And it's easy to get distracted by those things and all tied up. So some simple things you could do is have some quiet time in the morning. And then I have an alarm right at noon that goes off on my phone. It reminds me to check in again with the creator of the universe, because just from the morning to noon, I'm already thinking about everything else except God. I got things to do, places to go. Foolishness, hitting the wrong target. And then I also have an alarm that goes off at 5 and one that goes off before bed. For me, this helps. I need that reminder to plug myself back in, because throughout the day, our union with God, which is what we are made for, gets eroded over time. So focus on God and build in those routines, and it will help you hit the right target more often than not. Number 2, live in priority. Again, this is really simple to say, but a little harder to do. What do I mean, though, by living in priority? Well, it starts with God. That's why we started with focus on God. But the next is like 1A, 1B. If it's to take care of yourself, your health, your spiritual life, your mental life, your physical life. Take care of yourself. And on even plane with that, I'm not going to put one above the other. If you're married, it's marriage, the health of your marriage. Not the health of the partner in your marriage, that's their responsibility, but the health of your relationship. I labeled them not as above each other because if one of those slips, it affects the other one. Without a doubt. If my mental life is unhealthy, which it's been in seasons, it affects my marriage. It affects your marriage, your health. Focus on it. Similarly, problems in marriage affects our health. Have you ever had that? You have an argument, and even if you've made up before bed, sleep becomes a struggle because your partner and you are at it a little bit. These things are in priority. The next, if you have kids, is them. And then it's everything else. Too often, we give our effort to things that other people can do. Yeah, the things you lead, if you run a business, if you have a job, those things are important, but they are below the things I've already listed. But those are the things that pull at us the most, doesn't it? And so just like the alarm going off on my phone to remind me to check in with God, that same reminder that goes off, I look inward and evaluate. Where is my attention? Where is my focus? What am I actually aiming at? Because so often we're passively aiming. We're passively aiming. We aren't even aware of what we're shooting at. Like when I'm in that approval box and I'm aiming at that target, I don't know I'm there until someone disapproves of me and then I cry. Or, no, I usually don't cry, but I get reactive. If you are getting reactive to someone, something is going on in you. It's not their actions. Like, have you ever been there where you are in a good state? You've been working on your health, you're in union with the creator of the universe, and someone does something offensive, and it's like water off a duck's back. It just rolls off of you. But then other times, the same action will cause you to spin. This is signs that we're not aiming at the right target. We're aiming at the wrong thing. All I do in those moments, because this will happen, is I confess it to God that I'm putting something as my God, because that's what we're doing, above Him. And then I receive the forgiveness that He lavishes on you and I. See, and that is the constant journey of our life. I would love it to be a recipe. You do A, B, and C, and your life is happy, and you never struggle with priority. But that is a lie. This is something we need to remind ourselves of, because we're going to fail. The key is to fail forward. And if you're in the season where you failed and you're wondering about a path forward, watch this video right here. I know it'll really help you. God bless you in your journey.